Alright, basically guys, I hope you're having a lovely day, okay? Today, boys, we've got another episode of games I played, okay? I'm going to be talking about all the games that I've been playing in the month of... I nearly said September then, the month of October? The month of August, bloody hell, I don't know the months of the year. It's been a busy month for gaming, lads, I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing a lot of games, and most of it I've covered in videos. Obviously, we've been playing a lot of Terminator stuff, I've been playing Alien stuff, I'm also currently playing through Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine for an upcoming video on that, so I won't talk about that one. I've been consuming a lot of video games, okay, and I still had time to play some extras for this video. So yeah, we won't waste any time then, boys, we'll jump straight into things. Before we do that, though, I want to know in the comments, what games have you been playing, okay? Let me know in the comments what games you've been playing lately. Anyway then, lads, let's kick off this video with something a little bit unusual for me, alright? And that is going to be Inazuma 11 for the DS. Now, on first glance, guys, this is not unusual, okay? I mean, it's a football game. I like football. It's on the DS. I like the DS. So, you know, there's nothing really particularly unusual about it on first glance. However, this is an RPG. And if anybody knows me, I don't really like RPGs. I barely ever play them.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you.
I feel like everybody in the world these days is like a crazy RPG fan, but that's not me, alright? I don't hate them, I just feel like they're too long. That's my issue with RPGs, they're just too damn long. For me, I like to play a game for, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours tops, put them down and play something else, you know, move on to the next thing. That's the kind of gamer I am. When an RPG is going on for hundreds of hours, I'm just like, dude, can we end this thing? The only game I can think of that I really enjoyed, that was really long and I enjoyed it all the way through, was Persona 5, okay? That game, I put a good 100 hours into that. I freaking loved it. I played Persona Royale as well. I've put so many hours into Persona 5 and I still loved it. That's the only RPG that I've spent crazy amounts of time with and still enjoyed it. Actually, tell a lie, Persona 4. I played a lot of Persona 4. And there's something about the Persona games, it doesn't get boring to me. I don't know why, I just really enjoy them. Anyway, point is, I don't usually play RPGs, guys, but I thought I wanted to play this one because there's a football RPG, and I've had this in my collection for ages. I picked it up, I think I bought this game from Chichester, CEX. It was like £10, and I thought, you know what, it looks cool, it looks fun, I'm just gonna get it. Not to mention, the front cover is all, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's kind of shiny and tingly. I don't know if it's showing on camera. But yeah, it just looked interesting, it looked cool, so I just picked it up, and it's been sat on my shelf for God knows how long, and I saw it the other day, and you know when you just see something and you're just like, now is the time, like now is the time to play that one. That's what I had with this game, alright? I looked at it and I thought, it's time to play it. And I have to say, guys, I really love this game. It was so much fun. In terms of what it is, it's pretty much Pokemon, but with football, okay? It's a football game in the style of a Pokemon. You play as this kid called Mark, who absolutely loves football. Sadly for him though, none of the other kids at his school really care that much about football, so you know, he's like the only one that's like super enthusiastic about it. So basically they kind of want to like disband the football team because it's like an embarrassment to the school, so they match them up against like one of the best teams in hopes that they'll get demolished, and the stimulation is that if they lose this game, then they will disband the football team, and by some miracle they win. I won't tell you how they win, it's kind of, they don't really win, but yeah, anyway, they win the game somehow. And from that point onwards, your team gets better, all the kids in the school, like, they start liking football more, and it's just a really fun adventure. It's got loads of cool music in the game, the gameplay is ridiculously addictive, I loved playing the game, it's got loads of special moves in there as well, so you're not just like kicking the ball in the net, you're like kicking it up in the air and doing like dragon shots into the goal, like, it's all really crazy and just wild. It was just a really fun game, guys, okay? I loved the characters, I liked the story, I liked the charmfulness. It was a very just pleasant experience overall. It's very chill, and I don't know, it was a great game to just play before bed. I would kick this off for like an hour before bed. I'd play it in the mornings as well. It was just a vibe. And the cherry on top with this one, guys, is that it didn't overstay its welcome. This game took me about 15-ish hours, which is a decent length, you know, that's not too long for me. I can easily do a 15-hour game. This isn't like hundreds of hours, because if it was, I would have obviously got bored. I really enjoyed my time with this one, boys, and also what's good about it is there's tons of sequels, so I'm going to be looking out for Inazuma 11 too for sure, because I definitely like really want to play that now. Okay then, boys, next up we played a couple of light gun games, okay? I'm going to talk about them both together, and that is going to be Time Crisis 2 and Time Crisis 3. So yeah, we'll start off with Time Crisis 2 then, guys. When it comes to this game, I have got so much nostalgia for this, okay, because I remember I went on holiday in Cornwall, and I went to a place called Atlantic Reach. I don't know if any of you guys have ever ever been there, but it's an awesome little holiday park, and there's like a tiny little arcade area, and they had Time Crisis 2 there, and I remember I probably spent a good £10 playing Time Crisis 2 there, and I just had such a good time. This is when I was like a lot younger.
Those were the days.
I loved playing this game in the arcades. It was so fun. I'm not like a super like arcade guy. I feel like I was a generation too late for the arcades, but I had a lot of experience with Time Crisis 2 in the arcades. I really enjoy it, and if I ever see it in an arcade, if I'm ever there and I see a Time Crisis booth, I'm there, okay? I always put a couple of quid in to play it, almost to pay homage to this game. Recently, guys, I picked up a GunCon 2. I've got a CRT TV, so I can play light gun games, but I needed a GunCon 2, and this was the first game I wanted to play. I played through it. I absolutely loved it, okay? I played through the entire thing, and it's just such an over-the-top, awesome light gun shooter. So much fun. It's campy, it's cheesy, the voice acting is borderline terrible at times.
Haven't the agents left yet?
Keith and Robert are on their way. No one can beat them.
Keith and Robert?
But my goodness me, is this a fun time, guys. I absolutely love Time Crisis 2. It's so much fun. It's fun without the light gun shooter. I played this game before without the light gun shooter, but it's even more fun with the GunCon now. So yeah, that was really good. Real nostalgia blast, and I just had a ton of fun with that. Time Crisis 3 is arguably better. Like, it's even better, I think, than Time Crisis 2. Obviously, it doesn't have the nostalgia of Time Crisis 2, so I probably would edge it towards this one because I've just got such a strong connection to it. But this game, like, just on its own merit is probably better. The reason being, guys, is that you can actually play with different guns in this game. In this one, you basically have the pistol for the whole game, and then every now and again, they'll just give you an SMG for, like, really, like, short moments. In Time Crisis 3, you have the choice of 4 guns, so you've got a pistol, you've got a shotgun, you've got an SMG, and, like, a rocket launcher, and you can interchange between all 4 of those as long as you've got the ammo. So yeah, I'd actually argue that Time Crisis 3 is even more fun, but again, the nostalgia of Time Crisis 2 is undefeated. But my god, guys, I had such a good time with both of these games. They're so much fun. I played through them both. They didn't take very long because obviously they're like arcade games, so they don't take long to finish. So yeah, do yourselves a favor, boys, okay? Pick both of these games up, get yourself a CRT TV, get yourself a GunCon 2, and have yourself a whale of a time, because my god, those games were so fun. Alright then, boys and girls, next up we have got a very, very fun arcade racer, okay? And that is going to be Ridge Racer 7. Okay, guys, so last month I actually played through Ridge Racer Type 4, and I have to say that's probably my favourite racing game of all time. I'm not like the biggest racing game guy. I don't play every single racing game ever, but I do like my arcade racers, and Ridge Racer Type 4 was, okay, it was chef kiss.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The soundtrack of that game is 10 out of 10. No, in fact, it's 100 out of 10, that soundtrack. Okay, the soundtrack to Ridge Racer Type 4 is so good. It's just got such an amazing vibe, okay, especially like when you're driving in those nighttime tracks, and I don't know, I just love it, man. I love that PS1 vibe and aesthetic, and it was just so amazing, okay? I really loved Ridge Racer Type 4. I loved it more than I thought I would, and I knew I would like it, but I just really enjoyed that game, so naturally, I wanted to play another Ridge Racer game, so I picked this game up in Exeter. If you guys watched my Exeter CEX video, you'll know that I bought this game, and I honestly just couldn't contain myself, guys. I had to play this game straight away. The very day I bought it, I had to put this game in and play it, and from that point onwards, guys, I was just playing this game every single day, and I will say, it didn't start off amazing, okay? My first sort of experience with this game was actually somewhat negative. The first reason being, guys, is that the soundtrack here is definitely a downgrade, okay? The soundtrack here is not bad, but it doesn't hold a candle to Ridge Racer Type 4. There's a couple of songs in this game I really like. I think Super Cruiser, that's probably my favorite song in this game. I really like that one. But yeah, the soundtrack is definitely not as good as Ridge Racer Type 4, and I was expecting a really good soundtrack here, but it just wasn't quite the same. It's got a different vibe to the soundtrack here. It reminds me more of Tekken in a way. It's kind of got a Tekken vibe to it instead of that vibey, chill 90s sort of vibe that I was hoping for. But actually, guys, the main reason I was disappointed with this game initially was the drifting. I could not drift in this game to save my life. I was drifting and my car was just spazzing away. I could not control the cars in this game. Every time I would drift, I would be crashing my car and it would just be an absolute catastrophe. I was really like getting angry when I was playing this game. I was like genuinely just losing my temper. I nearly broke my controller at one point. I was not having fun, and I nearly said enough is enough, and I nearly put this game down. But guys, there was one moment in this game that actually saved this game for me, okay? And it was actually a little tip. You know, like when you get those tips at the bottom of the screen, and usually it's like the most useless tips ever. It's like, you know, press the X button to jump or something like that. You know, it's really obvious. In this game, there was a tip that was so helpful, it changed the game for me. It was basically a tip that described the different types of cars. So it's basically saying like dynamic cars are harder to drift with, and then standard cars are easier to drift with, and then etc, etc. It's basically telling you how the different cars, like the type of cars, change the way you drift and how they drive and stuff like that. And this whole time I was using dynamic cars, and that's why I couldn't drift properly, is because the type of car I was using. So as soon as I started using standard cars, I could drift. Alright, I wasn't, you know, drifting into corners and losing control of the car. I could actually drift properly. And from that point onwards, I was in love. I loved the game every second of it after that. This game was so much fun, okay? The speed in this game is unlike any other game. It's so fast and fluent. The graphics in this game as well, guys. Oh my god, the graphics. This game looks stunning. I can't believe it's a PS3 game, let alone an older PS3 game. Like, you can see the logo there. This is not like one of those newer sort of last few like PS3 games. This is one of the older ones. And this game's visuals have aged like a fine wine, okay? It looks stunning, and yeah, I could gush over this game all day long, okay? It's so much fun. I would 100% recommend it, and Ridge Racer is quickly becoming one of my favorite racing game franchises ever, okay? I've only played 2 of them. I've only played Ridge Racer 4 and 7, but I love both of them, so yeah, check these games out, guys, if you haven't already. Okay, guys, the final game I want to talk to you guys about is going to be Sonic Generations for the PS3. Okay, guys, so I actually picked this game up at the exact same time as I picked this game up, okay? I picked these games up both at CEX, so again, if you watch my Exeter CEX video, you know about that. But yeah, the reason I picked this game up, guys, is actually pretty similar to Ridge Racer 7. Last month, I played through the original Sonic the Hedgehog, absolutely loved it, it was so much fun, and again, it's kind of similar to Ridge Racer Type 4. I played that last month and had such a good time with that I felt like I had to get this one, and it was the same with this, alright? I wanted to get another Sonic game after playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Does that make sense? I feel like I made that a bit of a tongue twister. Anyway, point is, guys, I like Sonic 1, so I want to get more Sonic games, and Sonic Generations is meant to be one of the better ones, so I picked this game up. I think it was at £8, which is a pretty good price in my opinion, and I played through this game, lads, and it is such a good game, alright? This is amazingly good. I will say before we get into it, guys, I'm really bad at it, alright? I really sucked at this one.
Sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
I feel like I was actually better at the original or Mega Drive than I was at this one. I kept losing my rings every 2 seconds. It's not a hard game, okay? It's pretty forgiving, and it's not like the end of the world if you do lose your rings, because you can always get them back. But yeah, I just died a lot in this game for some reason. I was super terrible at it, and some of the boss battles as well. I struggled with some of these bosses. I'm like, this is meant to be a damn kids game, and I'm struggling out here. The second to last boss where you have to fight the Egg Dragon dude, I think that's what he was called, Egg Dragon, I don't know, the second to last boss anyway, I died at that just so much. He was kicking my ass. Yeah, I was not very good at this game, but that did not like hinder my enjoyment of it. I still had an absolute blast with it. In terms of like how this game plays, it's really cool. So it's like a combination of 2D and 3D Sonic. So some of the levels you play 3D Sonic, and some of them you play 2D Sonic. Such a cool concept. I thought that was so awesome. This game is ridiculously colorful and vibrant. Like, the levels just really are so eye-popping and different. There's no 2 levels that are the same in this one. But I ended up playing through this entire game in just a couple of days. I had such a good time with it. I would 100% recommend it to Sonic fans, or even non-Sonic fans, but I mean, I'm sure you Sonic fans have played this one already. In terms of my favorite level with this one, guys, I have to say it was, I don't know what the name of the level was, but it's the one where you're like snowboarding downhill. It's like a 3D level. That was so freaking cool. I thought that was just awesome. The music as well, I forgot to say, music in this game is 10 out of 10. So yeah, all in all, boys, really enjoyed that one, okay? I don't know if I prefer it to the original, because the original just has that nostalgia for me. You know, I remember playing that game as a kid, so I don't know if I prefer it, but damn, it was a good game. Alright then, boys, so that is all the games that I played this month, excluding the ones that I've already talked about in other videos. I had a pretty good time with all of these, okay? I mean, Sonic was great, Ridge Racer was so fun, Time Crisis 2 and 3 were brilliant, and of course, Inazuma 11 was good as well. It was a very arcadey month this month. You know, I played a lot of arcadey stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments comments again, guys. What games have you been playing? Other than that, though, if you're new here, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, peace.